Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Things with Codemanblue here on YouTube. And this is the first time I am doing a mock draft. Hopefully, you guys enjoy this. It's going to be a mix of who I believe they're picking, a mix of who I want to be picked, and I think it's just going to be fun. Let's just have fun, guys. So, for the first pick, I think it is in the bag. I think you know what it's going to be. Do I necessarily think it is the right choice? No. But I do believe it is going to be Cam Ward. Now, what I hope is that he's going to go out there. He's going to prove me wrong. He's going to be a great quarterback. I just think Tennessee needs a lot. And they didn't really do much to improve this offseason. So you're going to hang your hopes on a quarterback because you got two wide receivers that other quarterbacks you had last year couldn't utilize well. And I hope it works out. If I was them, I would have taken Abdul Carter. But from what you hear, it sounds like Cam Ward knows he's going to be a Titan. And I do think that's the way it's going to go. And then number 2 is where things could absolutely, positively go crazy, right? Because what do the Browns do? They have no quarterback. Their quarterback is going to be back at the end of this year. And what do? Do you bring somebody in? They brought in Joe Flacco. Is Joe Flacco their quarterback? Do they draft a quarterback here at number 2? They've not been very good at drafting quarterbacks. They've not been great at trading for quarterbacks. Do you make a trade? And do you somehow get a trade with Dallas? Do you get Dak Prescott and you just give up this pick and you send Deshaun Watson so that it happens? And you get 12, and you get 44. And I would offer that trade immediately, but because I'm not subscribed, I can't. I don't think that's going to happen, though. I think what's going to happen is they're going to stay at 2. They are going to pick a player. And ultimately, what I think it should be is Abdul Carter. Imagine a pass rush with Abdul Carter and now I can't think of his name. I want to say Myles Garrett, but I feel like that's wrong, even if it's right. It is right. It is Myles Garrett. So as you can see, I'm not editing this video because you're getting it as it is. But imagine a pass rush with Myles Garrett and Abdul Carter. And I'm a Notre Dame fan for college. Don't ask me how that happened because I can't tell you. But in that game, dude had a motor that did not quit and he was hurt. Would be a very dangerous defense to face. And then the Giants, again, are a wild card. What do they do? What are you going to pick? At this point, I don't see them reaching for a wide receiver, a quarterback. I think they're going to take Travis Hunter. And that, for me, this is worst case scenario as a Pats fan. This is who I want. I would love Travis Hunter across from Gonzalez. That would be great. But then you're here. You've got wide receiver, running back, offensive lineman. I believe Tet is going to be the best wide receiver out of this class. A lot of people, the chatter is that it's going to be Will Campbell. Heck, I would even say Tyler Warren could come here. Yeah, we've got Hunter Henry, but he's getting older. This could be the next Gronkowski in New England. Would be great. But I think with my heart, I'm making this pick from my heart because this is what I want. And because the brain side, tells me that Mike Vrabel loves his running backs. So I'm drafting Ashton Genty to the New England Patriots. And just in case you didn't know, I am a Pats fan. So that's where the heart comes in. For the Jaguars, hopefully they're not going to be as crazy as they used to be. But I think they're going to go Mason Graham here. Then you have the Raiders. And this is where things get dicey because I think they wanted Ashton Genty. You know, Pete Carroll loves his running backs too. But I think this is where Tet McMillan comes off the board. And they might go a different route if it shakes out this way. I just think it makes sense. And then the New York Jets. This is where I struggle. Because I have watched the Jets every year, at least 2 games. And the one thing I always see is that they don't build around a quarterback. But what do they need most right now? A quarterback. Is it going to be Justin Fields? Is he going to be the guy? Is he going to come into New York and lead a show that he has not been able to do when he was with the Bears? And clearly a great coach, in my opinion, Mike Tomlin, did not feel he was the guy to do it in Pittsburgh. Yes, he started the first, 5 games? But clearly, to finish the year, when Russell Wilson came back, Mike Tomlin felt more comfortable with Russell Wilson. So that tells me there is something there with Justin Fields that does not mesh well. Do I hope that I'm wrong? Absolutely. But if you are not going to draft Shedeur Sanders here, you are betting that Justin Fields is the guy for this year. And, I don't know a lot about what's going on there with them as far as their offense, but I think this is where I would draft Shedeur. And then the second round, I am bringing in either an offensive lineman, a wide receiver, something that fits that need and will build around a quarterback like previous Jets teams have not. Now, to where I live, the state that I live in, the Carolina Panthers. This could be very interesting for 2 reasons, okay? I'm looking at this team here. It doesn't say their needs are a quarterback. Derek Carr is out for the season. At least that's what's being said right now. So you do need a quarterback. And would you trade up one spot just to make sure that nobody calls the Panthers and says, hey, I need this quarterback. We really got to move up, from 21 to make sure that we're getting the quarterback that we want. Or Dallas doesn't do something crazy and say, hey, we really need prime Son here. Let's do that. If he wasn't already off the board, right? But he's gone in my draft. And so for Carolina, they're going to sit at this pick. And there's a lot of good options, But what I'm seeing is that Mike Green is the best edge rusher here in the draft. Right? Could go corner. I believe Carolina's already pretty set at corner. Could always go offensive lineman just to bulk up around your young quarterback and Bryce Young. Could get him another weapon, even though you already got a few tight ends there. This guy, I think, is going to be generational. But I think you're gonna build up that defensive line. You traded somebody away last year. Let's get that edge rusher. And then we are at New Orleans. And the quarterback draft, it's not there. There's nothing that I see quarterback right now. I don't think I'm going to reach for a quarterback. So what do I do? Who do I think is going to be next off the board and is worthy of that pick? I think this is going to be Walter Nolan. Doesn't have to go far from Ole Miss. All right, so now we're at the Bears, a team that to me was disappointing last year with the hype and all that they brought in and built up, and definitely want to see them be better this next year. They need a safety, they need defensive line, they need a running back. Do you reach for a running back here since one already went at 4? I don't think you reach. You're a team that can't do that. You don't have the capital to come back and get something else that you need. I think you take the best safety on the board, build up your defense, get better. Here we are, the San Francisco 49ers, right? What happened last year? And now there's rumors that you're going to be paying Brock Purdy $50 million. And I'm in the small minority that thinks Brock Purdy's not a franchise quarterback. I think when everything was perfect on the 49ers, he did his job. But I feel like you saw last year and the year before when pieces were missing, he couldn't carry them to victory. So you need to get back to perfect. But how do you do that? You've got so many needs. You've got guard, you got tackle, D-line, corner. I think you just take the corner and hope that you can fill a hole and hope that everybody comes back healthy this year and gets you back to where you're supposed to be. Dallas is a very tough draft for me because I just don't know. You just don't know what Jerry Jones is going to do. You know, you need a running back, you need a wide receiver, you need guard, you need edge. What do you do? How do you draft as Jerry Jones? Do you pass up the chance at somebody that was viewed as a top 6 pick? A lot of people have him going at 4 to New England. What do you do? And I think the best way to go is a wide receiver. And I think they're going to go with Matthew Golden from Texas. Miami, if it shakes out this way, they're going to be ecstatic because you got the 2 best tackles in the draft on the board still. You're going to run this pick up. I think they're going to go this way. And then the Colts, their quarterback room, also going to be ecstatic because you're going to be able to get this guy. One of the best players in this draft, in my opinion. I think when it all shakes out, he's going to be extremely good. I think this draft is definitely a little wonky, and let me know what you guys think because it's probably not going to go this way at all. This is just me trying to think of like, okay, what does this team need? What can I give them? What can we do to make these teams better? Here, I think I would go with Donovan from Boston College because look at who his coach was. It was Bill O'Brien, former NFL coach. This guy's going to be ready to play. But is that the way they're going to go? I don't know. To me, I think Atlanta got looked at as one of those teams that was going to be really great last year. And I just think they made the wrong coaching hire. So here, I think you have to continue to build up your defense because I think that also let you down a lot last year. And you're going to go with the edge rusher, Donovan from Boston College. You know, I mean, I'm not as insightful on this year's draft just because I've only kind of paid attention to who my team was looking at and hoping and praying that Abdul Carter would fall to us. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So now here we are with the Arizona Cardinals. And they've got a shot at who I think may be the best corner in the draft in Will Johnson. You're taking him. Build up defense. You've got a decent offense. Build up the line in front of your quarterback. Let him stay healthy and see what happens. The Bengals, again, great offense last year. Defense was horrible. They're going to take Jahad Campbell. To the Seahawks, where you're looking at center, guard, and edge. And I think you are going to end up taking James Pierce Jr. from Tennessee. And that kind of changes things for Tampa here. Because, edge is gone. Linebacker, DB. You're going to get Jelon Walker from Georgia. That's going to be a nice fit there. And then we've got wide receiver Luther Burden going to Denver. Great fit there. Young quarterback. Build up around him. Do you need line? Probably. But I think line can always come around. Pittsburgh. My apologies to Pittsburgh fans. Don't come at me in the comments. For Pittsburgh, if this guy is still here, I think you run that pick up because your offensive line was bad last year. At least from what I saw in the games that were televised nationally, it was not pretty. You need a quarterback. I just don't think you should reach for one here. I think somebody can fall to you in the second. I think there's a chance that Shador is still on the board here. I mean, unfortunately, what I feel is actually going to happen, though, just because I've heard this a lot, and they haven't sealed the deal with Aaron Rodgers, Jalen Milroe is coming off the board. And then what do you do if you are the Chargers? And this is how the board is shook out. You are going to run this up and take the wide receiver from Ohio State. No doubt. You need a wide receiver, and you know that Green Bay's right there behind you. They're going to need a wide receiver. So they're angry now because you stole the wide receiver. And I think they're going to go Nick Scorton from Texas A&M. I can't give a lot of feedback on these picks just because, like I said, I've not really focused much outside of the top 10. So next year, if this is something that you guys do enjoy and I get a lot of feedback on it, next year I will aim to do more research and make this far more interesting. But right now you're kind of just getting what I think could happen. And if you are the Vikings, you're ecstatic because you can go take this running back, shore up your running back room. And then again, if you are the Texans and Will Campbell is here, you are running that pick up to the board. It's done. It's over. Will Campbell, good luck in Houston. Don't go to the draft because you might be there a while. And then you have the Rams, and what do? You need a tackle. You're taking the big guy. Nah. The big guy from Ohio State? Or are you taking the big guy from Texas? And sure, I don't have all the grades, but that's a pretty good one. An 86.2 versus a 74.4. I'm taking Kelvin Banks Jr. And then the Ravens are on the clock. And they are a team that does some fun stuff sometimes, and you just don't know the way that it's really going to go. But I think they're going to go defense. That seems to be a Ravens thing, and I think they're going to pick Kevin Winston Jr. from Penn State. Could be wrong, but that's just the way I see it going. And then here with the Lions, they don't need a lot, but they do need a wide receiver, right? So let's go look at wide receivers. who could do well. I mean, I've heard a lot of good things about Jaden Higgins, and that's who I think it would be if I'm the Lions here, if I'm picking a wide receiver. So that's where I'm going with that pick. And then we go back to Washington. The Commanders. You need a corner. We've got Trey Amos here, and that's who you're going to take. The Bills. You get so close, but you can't get over the hump. You're going to reach just a little bit, and you're going to take the wide receiver from Stanford because you need a wide receiver. You need somebody for Josh Allen to throw the ball to, and that's who you're going to take. And if you are the Chiefs, you are running Josh Simmons up to the board. No questions. Done. Signed, sealed, delivered. And again, if you're the Eagles, you're taking Kenneth Grant. Doesn't matter. That's what you're doing. So let's see what they think our draft was. Nothing. We got no feedback. What was my grade? Did I get a grade on this mock draft? I don't know. What would you guys grade it? This is what we have. This is how it shook out on my end. It was a little funky, but I hope it starts your week off on a great note. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're trying to change things up here. We're going to get back to Schedule 1, most likely on the Friday episode. But thank you guys for watching. It's been a crazy last month. Started a new job and everything's going crazy. We're at the NFL draft, and I'm very excited for the NFL season to come back. And hopefully my team will be better this year. And I think Drake May is that guy, but we'll see what happens. Let me know what you guys think. I'll scroll one more time just so you can see all the picks. And hopefully you guys enjoy this. Let me know your thoughts. Give me all the details, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.